Some of the best dishes in the world have been around for centuries. Cuisine, food that has defined a culture, a country, both historically and within the culinary landscape. So today we are going to look at a dish that, although originated in Hungary, can be seen throughout Eastern Europe. It can be made with many types of meat, can be made with many types of pasta. Something called Hungarian Ghoulash. We're going to put a lupine spin on it today on the Lupine Epicurean. Welcome to another episode of the Lupine Epicurean, and on today's show we are going to make a meal around Hungarian goulash. We are going to use ground beef, and we're going to use macaroni for our goulash, and we're also going to make side dishes of black-eyed peas and some deep-fried potato sticks. So we're going to make a whole meal today. It's fairly inexpensive. It's real easy to make. As long as you get all your stuff prepped before you start, which takes about 15-20 minutes to prep it, it'll be a breeze for you. It takes probably about a half hour at most to get it all cooked up. So let's get started. We're going to show you what ingredients you're going to need for this. Alright, so let's start with the goulash itself. We are going to use 2.5 cups of macaroni. We're going to use a can of tomato sauce. We are going to use a pound of ground beef. We are going to use a tablespoon of Evo with 2 garlic cloves chopped or sliced, and we're also going to use about 1/4 of a cup of what I like to call veggie gruel, which is essentially chopped up green peppers and onions. And finally, for our spices, we are going to use a tablespoon of Mediterranean basil leaves, a tablespoon of oregano, and a tablespoon of Hungarian paprika mixed together. And now we're going to move over here. I've got my deep fryer heated up to about 375 degrees now. I've got one really large potato that's been sliced and diced into sticks. And we have half tablespoon of milled sea salt, along with half a tablespoon of fresh ground pepper, black pepper. So we're going to be putting that on there. And then I went the easy route with my black-eyed peas. I just got me a can of black-eyed peas. Mine actually have jalapenos and bacon in them because I love jalapenos and bacon. So this is going to be our meal. We're doing Hungarian goulash with sides. So what are we going to do first? I'm going to go ahead and get my macaroni started boiling. I've got this nice big pot. I've put my 2.5 cups of macaroni in there. I'm going to pop that on high and get that boiling. In the meantime, I'm going to take the Evo and the sliced garlic, and I'm going to get that in my wok over here. I do pretty much everything in my wok because I love the way a wok cooks. It cooks evenly. It cooks thoroughly. A wok holds a lot of its old flavors, and that's always a good thing. So I'm going to get that in there so that we can get that going. And once that gets heated up, I'm going to throw the veggie gruel in there and saute a little bit with it. And once we do that, we'll be able to go ahead and get some beef in there. So we're going to start with that, and once I've got the beef in, we'll take a look. All right, so my macaroni is getting to boiling there. I've sauteed a little bit of the onions and green peppers and the garlic and the Evo in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking some 85% lean, 1 pound of ground beef, which I actually got from an organic market. Be a little bit healthier here. And I'm crumbling it into the wok. I don't want to have any, it's okay to have a few, but I don't want meatballs here. I want this to be well crumbled when I go to put it in my pasta. And I'm just going to get that around evenly so that we can get it cooked thoroughly, but not, you don't want to fry it too much. The thing you have to remember about any kind of lean meat is that the reason why it's lean is there's no fat in it. If you don't have fat, it's real easy to dry it out. So you got to keep your eye on it, and you may even have to use a little bit of water in your wok throughout to keep it from burning. I occasionally do that. So there we go. All right, we have switched over to the famous counter cam. You can't go an episode without using the counter cam. One thing you want to remember whenever you're using meat, and this goes the same for vegetables too, is that you may have to wash your hands several times during the course of your meal. You want your meal to be safe, so remember that. When you're done touching the beef, wash your hands. Now, what I've got going over here, I've got my deep fryer going. I've gone ahead and just got my hands in there and mixed the salt, the sea salt that I milled, and the ground fresh black pepper. Just got it all in there. I've got me a plate nearby. I can drain my canola oil. I always use canola oil in my deep fryer. It's a little bit healthier, and it gives it a good flavor, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get a handful of these potatoes. Get them in this fryer oil. You can hear that sizzling. Sizzling is a good sound in cooking. And I'm going to take about half of what I got here, and in it goes. We are going to let that cook probably, whoa, a little too hot. We are going to let that fry for probably somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes. It shouldn't take too long because I got it pretty doggone hot. The thing you got to remember about the beef as well is you want to make sure that you cook it at a high temperature long enough so if there's anything going on in that beef, you've got it covered. So as you can see, I've got my ground beef going in the wok with the oil, the onions and peppers, and the garlic, and it's browning pretty well. There's still a little pink there. This is the perfect time to take my mix of paprika, basil leaves, and oregano and just liberally get that evenly spread out in there. I want those spices to get in that meat. I want the flavors to really cook in. And actually, I'm going to leave, I've got just a little bit there. I'm going to throw that in with my pasta and give that a little bit of flavor too while it's boiling. My macaroni is getting really close to needing to be drained. With spaghetti, you want to be with macaroni, you want to cook it al dente. So we're going to get some more of this mixed up, and we'll be back. Alright, so let's see where we're at. As you can see, I've got some of my potato sticks already fried up and draining the oil, and my macaroni is now done. I've drained it and put it back in the pot, and my beef is definitely done. So we are going to start doing some mixing here. Give you an idea of what we're doing next. I've got my can of tomato sauce here. I'm going to throw that in. Make sure I get all that out of there. I'm going to take my beef mixture with all those wonderful spices, paprika, oregano, basil. I've got garlic, onions, green peppers, all my favorite things in the world. And that's all going in there as well. And then we're going to get it mixed up here. Now, if you would like a thicker sauce, you may want to put in another half a can of tomato sauce, or maybe even a whole can. I used to eat it that way, but I prefer my sauce a little thinner now, so one can's good enough. Also, if you want to thicken it up a little bit, add some fresh, off the vine tomatoes. I do that myself, but I'm allergic to tomatoes, so I just don't use it. but it's a great addition. My mother used to make it that way. That's what got me started on goulash in the first place. My mother would make this just about once a week because it's an inexpensive meal and you can feed a lot of people with it. And I'll show you why. There's so much of it. So this is going to go back on the heat and cook a little bit longer, and we'll be good to go. So here we are. We're done. We have a beautiful Hungarian goulash, fried potato sticks, black-eyed peas. Absolutely wonderful meal. One of my favorite meals in the world. Oh, and delicious. All those wonderful spices are coming out. My potato sticks, I left them in a little too long. So they're a little, but that's all right. One of the things that we used to do as a child, as children, my sister and I, is to put banana peppers over our black-eyed peas and our potatoes, just to give it a little extra kick. So, there you are. Oh man, they're so good. I've got to go back over there and finish eating that. But I want to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Lupine Epicurean, where we've made Hungarian goulash, black-eyed peas, and some deep-fried potato sticks. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As I said, it's a really good dinner because it's inexpensive, relatively. It's easy to make, quick to make, and as you can see from the pot I had, this will last me, myself, probably 3 days, maybe, because I love this stuff. But anyway, as usual, if you want the recipe for this, then come on over to my foodie website. You'll see right here. It's at Blogspot, Lupicurian.blogspot.com. And if you want to check out some more episodes of the Lupine Epicurean web show, come back here to the Wicked Wolf channel on YouTube, Wicked Wolf Studios channel, and catch another episode. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the kitchen. One, two, three. Welcome to another episode. Cut.